Hi, it's KatieStories Bowl, and I'm here with Katie Stories number 33. And today I have a special guest. There she is. Yeah, look who's joining me. Mitty, my kitty. She's really shy. If she knew you were here, she'd run away. So, hey, today I'm gonna continue talking about hypnotherapy. A couple weeks ago, I came on and did a story about how that really helped me change my mindset about a lot of things. And at that time, it was that I was trying to slim down. I'd been doing a little emotional eating and I knew I was stuck, and it helped me. And I also took some nutrition with this person and learned, to eat in a wonderful way that gives me energy and I feel great and stay slim. So you got to watch my last story for that. And today I'm going to tell you about how it helped me with boundaries, because again, I needed to really change my overall mindset and values and beliefs about helping family, right? Because that's the kind of family I was born into. But it was getting to a point where it was hurting me, and I had to, figure out a way to set some boundaries. And it ended up really empowering my siblings and gave me a lot of space to start to really do the things I wanted to do. It was a win-win. So before I get into that, I just wanted to say, hey, how was your week? It's been a pretty heavy one, eh? With everything going on, and just sending out love and hearts on that. I think if you follow me, you know I've put in my story and my feelings on it. So anyway, I just wish everybody well. I hope you found some good things to smile about this week, because I did. It was so nice to go back to school. For this first week, I work at a high school, so we're only allowing 20% of each grade into the building at a time. And it's not like they're beating down the door, but we've had some pretty good numbers. And I got to be the one to sit at a great big desk checking them all in every morning. And that's pretty much what I do all day, is just sit there checking them in, checking them out, going over the, follow the arrows and social distance and sanitize and have a great day. And anyway, it's been cool though. It's been really positive, and it's been so nice to see my coworkers again, and even getting to know some staff better, because usually there's a certain area I work in at the school. And because we're not too busy, I'm not really needed there. So I'm doing other things and making more friends, young and old, and it's great. So yes, what about hypnotherapy and the boundaries? Wow, okay. It's funny because there's no coincidences, right? 2014, I was telling you last story, when I went to go see Germana. And it's funny because little did I know at that time, but universe does, right? That I was going to need to be in really good shape for what was going to happen shortly after that. The following year was so hard. It was April 2014. And then it was around May, and my big brother Danny, once after our mom had passed away, my other brother, closer to my age, Fred, looked after Danny. Danny was great, mental illness, but very stable. He just kind of, would do his thing and come and go, and him and Fred got along pretty good. But he just reached a part in his life where he really had a big mental downslide, and we didn't know that it was ever going to get better. He just was so forgetful. He lost his false teeth. Just a whole bunch of things were going on, and Fred was really struggling with that. I took him for a few weeks and we couldn't do it. So within that space, we ended up working with the government and finding an assisted living lodge. And it was really, really difficult for him. And I stuck to him like glue during that transition, right? Because he's my big brother, and he was, it was a huge change for him. He'd been in that family home since 1965. And this was in 2014. And as I navigated, helping him, my brother was tired, and understandably so. And so I was doing the lion's share of that. And my big sister, at a point was helping, but she lives in a different city a few hours away. And my other sister, who passed away, doesn't drive, but she was great for support, but, could only help so much. So as we went along in 2014, I started a job in the fall. It wasn't one I would normally pick. And it was in elementary school, very young. I was working in high school quite a bit. So I had to go from that mindset of kind of being, cool, yay, laid back, and I had a great connection with kids and teenagers, to suddenly being in with the grade 1-2s in a very inner city neighborhood with yeah, like just a lot of kids with a lot of issues, and it was tough, and I didn't feel good. I didn't feel like I was really great at my job. It took me a while to really change the way I looked at some things to be able to do that job. But I learned a lot. It was great. No regrets. Around that time, by now it was 2015, and I got shingles. And my cousin, with 3 kids and married, died of cancer. And just all of that added up that year with my brother and my cousin and this tough job. And it surprised me because I thought my immune system was pretty good. And so as I was going through that, funny, but I knew I was bringing it home. Like at home, I was, getting kind of snippy, and I didn't realize that. I'm just looking at my notes. Give me a sec. I didn't realize, how I was really taking that out on my family. And so I went to hypnotherapy again, and it was great. I would continue every now and then, just ring her up and say, hey, can I come for a session? Sometimes it would take 2 because I had a lot to just talk about and unload, and we wouldn't be able to get to the part of the hypnotherapy. And that was okay, right? And so I would just go back for another one. So money, whatever. It's not like we're rich, but I manifest. Money flows. I'm just open to it. And I'm not scared to spend it on myself for mental health, for wellness, for physical, right? And so give yourself permission to do that. And I'm just looking at my notes again. And so anyways, this ended up really empowering my siblings because my sister, this is the sister who passed away last year. And when I was a kid, she helped raise me and my brother when my mom wasn't well. There was about, from kindergarten to about grade 3. And by grade 4, Mom was able to sort of step back into her mom role, but for a few years. So when my sister got sober in 2001, I was just there and I always had her back. But by 2015, it was weighing on me. And in addition to working and having my own child and my husband and our own life, I was, having Debbie's back and having my brother Danny's back. And suddenly, I was noticing, if my sister, if I couldn't come visit or give her a ride when she wanted, and, and I was trying to set up boundaries. Not always, sometimes I would be snippy with her too about it. And then she would get angry and mad at me and think I was being selfish and mean. And I was so stressed. I was really stressed out that year. And so when I went to see Germana, and my brother sometimes was making bad choices, right? He'd get into the drugs and go downhill, and he's very vulnerable. It's not your dry cut case where you just cut them off, so you don't enable them. And I said, I just feel like they're better when I'm in their life. They make better decisions. When I'm busy and I don't see them for a few weeks, they get into trouble, and then I feel like they get into these messes that I have to help clean up, and so I feel stressed and I try and pull away, but then they seem to get into trouble, almost like they do things to get my attention to pull me back in. And she said, are you God? And I was like, no. And she really said it like with her big blue eyes, and it kind of pissed me off, like it bugged me. But what she was saying was, you're not responsible. Like, it's not up to you to totally make them happy. Even if they're vulnerable to a point, they have to own some of their stuff and take responsibility and be satisfied with what they have. You need to live your life and be there for your husband and child. And I think you're displacing some of this, right? Like, you're going home and because you're stressed out and carrying this extra, always feeling like you have to be there for them and doing things for them. And I went, yeah, I could see that, and chatted with my husband about it. So the cool thing is I went to go visit my sister. I don't remember exactly when. I just know this was within a year or 2 of seeing Germana. And, I just sat down with her and had a beautiful cup of tea. And we held hands. And I said, Debbie, we don't fight. We've always gotten along so good. And we never disagree or not get along. And we're really struggling. And I love you and I don't want to feel that way. And I said, I've always been there for you, just like you've been there for me. But last year with Danny sliding, and I know you've been a big help, but you don't drive, and I have had a lot of the lion's share on me. by now my eldest sister, had other things going on with her husband having an illness, and that's not my story to tell, so I won't carry on about that. But I was feeling very alone. I was feeling like I was really shouldering, watching out for my brother. Even though he lived in a lodge, he's so vulnerable, and they would go by he's an adult, so they have to let him be allowed to do certain things that we didn't. And I would worry because he can easily be, get himself into trouble that way. So I said to my sister, you know what? Right now, it's Danny's turn. Danny's had the slide. He's in a home. You live on your own and you're independent, and I'm so proud of you. And right now, I got to be with Danny, and I've got to help him. And I don't have time and the energy to also be there for you all the time. I need you to start being more independent. I need you to start reaching out to other people, neighbors, families, for rides. And I can promise you, Debbie, that one day, you're going to need me as you get older, and I'm going to be there for you. Right now, it's just Danny's time. And she got it, right? When we're vulnerable and we stay soft, we don't have to be mean and cranky and aggressive. And she got it. And it was really great because at that point, I started to have some more peace. And she did. She started to do more things on her own, reach out to others. And she was already volunteering at the 710 Club in Nanaimo. And her community was growing. And she could see that this was important for her, that I love her, but it wasn't up to me to make her happy, that she had to be the one to start using her resources around her to make her life richer and not just depend on me to do it. Whew, was that ever a lot of freedom. So that said, my husband's just walking through the door, and that's the end of my story. So I'm gonna go. My cat said hello. Oh, she's saying hi to Jeff now. So thanks for listening, and have a great day. And I'll talk to you in a few weeks.